This is Half Serious, where we dig into the things that keep us going. Habits, hobbies, hell, even bad ideas, and the hard crap that nearly breaks us. Because life doesn't pull punches, and somewhere between the chaos and the craft, the dichotomy of life teaches us a lesson. We laugh, we curse, and we keep freaking going. So pour a drink or start your marathon, and let's get into it. I don't usually give a spiel before the podcast, but I am with this one just because the topic is a little bit different, and it's difficult for me to put this out there because it paints policing in a bad light. And it is a 0.1% problem in policing, and that is the dirty cop topic. We are going to talk about that today with our guest, but I wanted to be very clear on my opinion of the differences between a dirty cop and a troubled cop. A troubled cop is far different, in my eyes, than a dirty cop. Now, a troubled cop is one that you might see on the news that gets a DUI or, has a violent encounter, that sort of a thing. Typically, they have a pattern of being well respected in a department, doing really good things. Maybe they have a decade or two of experience and there hasn't been any hiccups, so to speak, in their career. And it's like all of a sudden, everything came tumbling down on them and they made this really bad decision. Usually it's somewhat self-destructive, and now they're having to deal with it, and they either get, kicked out of the department or what have you. To me, there is a huge spectrum of responses that we could have with that. We should get them the help that they need, or should we fire them and disown them? I don't know. It matters situation to situation, right? But that is a troubled cop. As a friend, that is not a situation in which I would disown somebody. I am going to continue to talk to this person, help this person, everything that I can. They made a bad decision. However, dirty cop is one that takes bribes, that splits dope, that maybe skims dope, does stuff that harms their community, and this is a very cold and calculated thing that they're doing. This isn't a one-time emotional decision. This is something that they have been doing and have a pattern of doing. This person can go fuck themselves and are going to be disowned by the policing community, because if there's two things that will bring cops together quicker in anger than anything else, one is somebody that fucks with a kid, pisses cops off more than anything else. Number two is a dirty cop. Because not only are they going to have to deal with this dirty cop and turn them in and, see through the court system and all that other stuff, they're going to also have to take it tenfold back on themselves. And what I mean is, let's say that I'm on a squad and I found a dirty cop. Oh, man, okay. Got to turn him in, do all that investigation, whatever. Once that hits the presses, it's going to catch on like wildfire because that's a fun topic for people to talk about, right? So people like to blow it up and talk about it. Is it important? Yes, but it because of that, because it catches like wildfire, then everybody thinks everybody's a dirty cop. Then me, this cop that has then turned this cop in, is now having to take that back tenfold from the community, saying, well, you're a dirty cop too. All you guys are dirty cops because this one dirty cop's been on the news. And I get why that happens. It doesn't make it any less, I hate to say the word hurtful because, that makes us put our emotions out on our sleeves like that, but it's just hurtful. These guys can hate you as a person. Let's say there's somebody somewhere that cusses out a cop every time that they come by and they just don't like this person whatsoever. They are still going to show up if your ass is getting stabbed. If you're getting stabbed and somebody else is like, hey, this person's getting stabbed, the cops are going to come running. Your friends are not going to come running in between the bad guy and the knife. It's going to be the cops. And they're going to have to take that abuse of everybody's dirty because this one guy's dirty. So that is the kind of double downside of a dirty cop. And that's why they're so fucking hated. If there's a dirty cop, I guarantee you that person, if the department has any kind of standard at all, that person has completely been disowned from all of their former comrades, all that other good stuff, because they don't want to have shit to do with them. That's it. That's all I got. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to have their own opinions, their own experiences. I'm just putting mine out there, okay? So you know where I'm coming from since I'm hosting the podcast, all that other good stuff. That being said, Tory's narrative is freaking awesome. He's a good freaking dude. He has accomplished a ton since he has left the department. He was a really proactive cop, done a ton of stuff in the short time that he was an officer, and I'm really proud of him, and I can't wait to see what he does next. So without further ado, I'll shut up, and here's Tory's episode. I had to go by the academy for something the other day, and one of my buddies asked me, like, hey, how's it? And I'll tell you the same thing I told him, like, it is fun, like, I really like it, and it's something new, but you never really feel like you fit in. It's weird. It's like you're always an outsider.
I think when you're called to serve, it has a lot to do with just having that fulfillment of just helping others and being involved and making a difference.
Yeah.
Not saying that we don't make a difference now, but you're immediately making a difference. You're making life-changing decisions right then and there, whether that's a ticket, whether that's an arrest, whether that's getting somebody help, or taking them to crisis services or something like that. You're literally making a difference at that particular second.
So, what is the name of your company?
So I could not think of a cool name to name my company, so it's just my last name, Green Research and Technology.
It still honestly, you sound kind of like an environmental
It
agency.
does. Everybody everybody asked that question. I'm like, no.
So what does your company do?
We have a commercial side and we have a government side. So the commercial side, we do threat assessment, threat analysis. We do violent in the workplace training, insider threat investigations, and inside threat investigations and inside threat analysis and things. On the government side, we do cost analysis, acquisition, and logistic folks that work for me. I have some engineers that work for me on the modeling and sim work, and then I have what's called a SACO manager. We're kind of robust, and I did that on purpose because if a certain contract ended, right, I want to be able to, hey, we have more positions over here. We can do this over here. So I have a commercial side and a government side.
And how long has your company been going? What year did you start it, I guess?
So yeah, it was 2 years in September. Yeah.
That's a fast takeoff.
Yeah, it was. And I'm already at 15 employees.
Damn.
Yeah.
That congratulations, man. I know I've said it before, but seriously, good job.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So 15 employees. We've been kicking ass. It's been cool. Stressful, but cool.
I'm guessing not the same stress as the policing realm, but is it still like a fun stress in there? Do you get kind of that adrenaline a little bit in there?
I mean, it's right. Talking to folks, yeah, but it's different, right? It's not the cat and mouse game. It's more dependent on other folks, where policing, it was more how much effort I wanted to put into finding somebody, or how much I wanted to work dope or an informant or finding a gun or something like that. So that's the difference between the two for me.
I don't want to say less rewarding, but have you had to kind of change the way that you saw reward? Because, in policing, it is like we're talking about, like, instant, or you get to catch the bad guy, or you find the dope and all this other stuff. But I feel like you're playing the long game with the company.
Yeah.
Do you have to kind of set up like little rewards around the way? Like, okay, cool, I did this.
Yeah, absolutely. So with my company, there are little rewards like, oh, okay, I got another FTE on this contract. Great. Where with policing, if I found a guy who just shot someone, whether I, ran someone down, or a robbery offender, or whatever the case may be, those were more instantaneous and life-changing. This model is more business model, where as sad as it may sound, policing isn't respected right now, but it's more of a blue collar type of job.
Like, what year was it that you started policing?
I graduated the academy in 2013. I started in 2012. I graduated the academy in 2013.
Okay, and then how long, like, kind of the snippet of your career in policing, what would it all involve?
Yeah, so I didn't realize the importance of off days. I swear I didn't. So a particular sergeant called me. I said, hey, listen, we're short right now. We have Thursday, Friday off days. And I was like, Thursday, Friday off days? I said, shouldn't I be at work on Fridays? Like, I was like, that's when all the, that's when all the action is going to happen. I didn't understand. And that's how green I was, I said, no, I want to be at work on Fridays. He said, son, let me talk to you. He's like, no, Thursday, Fridays are really good off days. And I was like, but I'll be off on Fridays. Like, I need to be at work on Fridays." And he's like, "No, no, no." He said, "No, normally, like, new people get Monday or
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, or even Wednesday, Thursday. Said, but I have Thursday, Fridays for you."
Yeah.
And it took me the longest to grasp that,
Uh,
like, that concept of that I was getting Thursday, Fridays as a rookie, like, as,
yeah,
a
that's
year on the street.
insane. I
But,
think I had 5 years in before I even touched a weekend.
yeah, yeah. So I didn't understand it, and so I was like, okay. And I respected this guy, and
Yeah.
I said, yes, sir, I'll take Thursday, Fridays. And in the back of my mind, I was so sad about it. I think that's how much I was dedicated to the mission. A lot of police officers, that's how we are, who want to serve, who want to catch the bad guys. Put me in the game where I can get the bad guys. But I took my Thursday, Fridays.
I think that was a smart move.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Looking back on it, it absolutely was.
So
Yeah.
you were on patrol
Yeah.
and, you basically got introduced to bribery in law enforcement, which
Yeah. Yeah.
isn't a thing
Yeah.
typically. It's not like people think
Yeah.
it, like, happens all the time and crap.
So 2 incidents happened. I don't think people know the latter story, but 2 incidents happened that made me, that kinda made me start considering other paths. Is one, yes, you're absolutely correct, is that I got introduced to a whole bribery thing, but the second thing is that I was in a shooting. I just it
That
was
was a moment?
it
I
was
mean, I
yeah.
didn't know that was what solidified it.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot. So the bribery thing happened first, and then the
Yeah.
shooting happened next, and so it was just like, you know what? I probably need to do something
Eh,
else for a living. So I'm working a detail. It's called NATSO, and you're probably familiar with it because you were a lieutenant. So NATSO detail is it's a federally funded grant that you're supposed to basically patrol target areas and write a certain amount of tickets and or warnings an hour. So I was on my last hour on this night, and I'm like, I need to find a car to pull over. I just want to give them a warning. Literally, just it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
that's when it happens.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just want to tell this guy, hey, slow down, or hey,
Mhm.
use your turn signal, print out a warning, document it, and I'm on my way. So there's a car going northbound, and I'm kinda sitting off the west side of the road, and this car he does this crazy maneuver. He jumps into the turn lane and jumps in back into the slow lane, so he, like, basically skipped a lane of traffic, and I'm thinking to myself, "This is my warning." Like, I
Yeah,
can
yeah. You're like,
I can give this guy a warning, and I can go home. So, I pulled this guy over, and I walk up to the car and I go, "Hey, license, registration, proof of insurance." And he goes, "Huh?" I go, "Yeah, hey, just give me your license, registration, proof of insurance." He hands me a federal prison ID card. And I go, "Oh." Again, I am very tired. I just worked an 8-hour shift. I'm doing 4 hours of
Yeah.
NATSOs, and then I
You're
think
trying to go home.
yeah, right. I literally don't wanna do anything. I go, "Do you have a driver's license?" And he goes, "No, no, no, that's my ID. So you don't have a driver's license." I had a philosophy, no ID, come with me. So I asked for an assist unit, a very good friend of mine who you may know, who you should bring on this show, by the way. Are you gonna bring him?
I don't know which one you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, he is coming on
Okay,
here.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so he came to assist me, and I asked this guy to get out of the car. While he's getting out, he keeps getting out. I mean, this
yeah.
guy is huge. You
That's
gotta
always a
understand.
bad
Yeah,
feeling.
I'm a small guy.
This
Let me preface this by saying, listen, I'll wrestle a grizzly bear, but this guy was a really big guy. So as
such a
he's
bad
getting out,
feeling.
I look up, I'm like, God damn. Like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yep.
here we go. So I pat him down. I put one handcuff on him. I have to, we had two handcuffs.
Yeah.
Some of the police officers were proactive, had two handcuffs on their duty belt. I had to pull out another set, connect the set, and then handcuff him again. Like, that's how big
Shit,
this guy was.
dude, yeah.
That's a big dude. So, I did my wingspan search of the vehicle. My assist officer's there. He's kind of watching them. There's like this little area, and I look in it, and there's the biggest bag of cocaine I've ever seen. You gotta understand, I've only been on the street at this time for about a year and a half.
Oh, damn, you were new.
Yeah, I was brand new.
Yeah.
like, brand new. I just been assigned to that specific precinct. I just come out and I look at this particular officer, and my eyes are big. I've never seen this much cocaine in my life. Literally, I'm like, "Oh, what do I do?" And he's like, "You need to call a stack unit." I
Yeah.
was like, "I know this, but like, we need to call like the fucking DEA, yeah, like the feds. Like this is a lot." So we contact the on-call stack unit, who ended up being my supervisor. I'm gonna tell a bunch of stories about him. I wanna embarrass the fuck out of him, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah, yes, yes.
please do.
I want him to listen to this
Oh,
and
he
call me.
will.
Yeah. So we call the stack unit out, and he comes out, and they interview him, and they, talk to him. It's the game, right? You flip the guy, and as a young patrol officer, I did not understand the significance of flipping, an informant.
Yeah.
It's important, right? You gotta
Mhm.
get the bigger fish. So I was like, "What do you mean you're gonna let him go? Like, what do you mean he's gonna call you? How do you know he's gonna what if you miss his call?" I was so confused. I didn't understand,
Your
he was
feelings
like,
are hurt because you wanna put him in jail.
right. I was like, this guy needs to go to jail for like
Yep.
years. And he was like, "No, no, no, trust me, And poor guy, he was trying to explain to me how it works. And
Yeah.
and this is kind of my first time, like, so I've arrested people for felony dope before, but this was my first time, like, where a stack investigator came and said, "Hey, I'm going to use him." And
Mhm.
so I literally didn't understand that concept. And
Yeah.
so
I could see how that'd be confusing if you
yeah,
didn't.
and it's not because I just didn't understand it, I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, and so poor guy at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to explain to me,
He
like,
just got out of
right,
bed.
right, he just rolled out of
Son of a
bed, yeah, and
He's grumpy
yeah,
anyways.
he is a grumpy guy. He's a very grumpy guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Make sure you keep that in
Oh, yeah, I'm
there.
keeping it. I'm just gonna
Uh,
put that on repeat and send it to him.
absolutely. Love his wife, but he's grumpy. So it's like I done nothing. The stat guy turns the dope in.
Anticlimactic
Yeah,
almost,
the bad guy goes away. So I go to roll call the next day, and a friend of mine at the time, we're not friends anymore, but he walks up to me. He said, "Hey man, I heard you got a good lick last night." I said, "Yeah, yeah, I did." I was excited, right? I mean, I'm bragging about it.
Yeah.
85 grams of cocaine.
Damn.
Yeah,
Good job. I
yeah.
mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
it was a good job.
off of
Random
yeah,
stuff.
off a random stop, working overtime. He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He says, "I got 15 stacks for you." Or did he say 10 stacks? He said 10 or 15. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, "I got this many stacks," is the word he used. If you'd be willing to make it all go away. I was like, like,
Yeah.
"Are you fucking
It's a
serious?"
really
So, I thought it was a joke. I laughed it off, honestly. I
Yeah.
I literally laughed it off, and so that, the size of towns, you have what's called a 30 side or a 40 side. Well, I work 40 side, but this 30 side officer would end up on my 40 side call, and as a lieutenant,
Y
if a 30 side officer is going
That's
to a 40,
suspicious.
it's a 40 side call. Why is this 30 side officer not in his zone 1, 2, or 3, and he's in this zone 4, 5, or 6?
Mhm.
This particular officer works zone 2 all the time. So for him to go to zone 4 or 5, which were my zones, it
Yeah.
was pretty suspicious. And so he would end up on my calls, "Hey, what are you gonna do? What do you think? What are you gonna do? You gonna do it? You gonna do," and he would continuously ask me why I would not take the thousands of dollars that was being offered to me.
Yeah.
It got to the point to where it turned into, harassment. Kid you not, if it was that first conversation that we had where
Yeah.
I laughed it off, I would probably still be a police officer today.
That's crazy to think
Because
about.
yeah, yeah, because I would have thought, "Oh, it's a joke,"
Mhm.
ha because we have crazy humor as
Oh,
police
yeah.
officers. Yeah,
Usually, it's not as much that, though. Usually,
yeah,
it's, like,
yeah, yeah.
death and destruction jokes.
Right, right. But I was like, "Ha, ha, ha,"
Yeah.
"Oh, you're offering me money," And so but it turned to the point to where, I reported him. So I talked
And
to a
did that like, when you finally realized that it was real or when you finally were like, "Oh, crap, this actually is real," did it fracture your thought of police in general?
not right that second.
Oh, okay.
So, what at that particular second, I was thinking, "Hey, this guy is fucking awful." I
Yep.
thought he was my friend. I thought he was, pro police. It wasn't until later when I thought, "You know what? Yeah, this policing shit is not where it's at, like, where I
Yeah.
thought it was. These folks that I thought were that would have my back, is not where it's at, so
I would think it polarized it to such a degree, like, you knew the one, because I don't wanna paint him in bad light, because there was so few and far between that are just pieces of shit, and we all know who they are.
yeah.
It's just some of them we can't do anything about.
Wasn't
So fucking annoying. But did it also kinda shed light on the ones where you're like, "Holy shit, this is like a good these are good fucking people." So did it kinda
Yeah.
polarize it that way? Knew
100%,
it
100%, but later on, though,
Oh,
so later on, I had because I got where I couldn't work and couldn't provide, I had officers paying my utility bill, my rent, giving me gas money, collecting money for me. There's a particular sergeant right now, 2 of them, 3 of the 1 is a lieutenant. If they call me right now, I'm coming. Like, "What do you need? You need money?" I would empty out my savings account right now to assist them and help them.
yeah.
I'm just being honest. I'm getting choked up thinking about it. I went to that stack agent first. I said, "Hey, I got a problem." He's like, "What up?" I said, "No." So I can't talk to you on the phone. I need to talk to you face to face. He's like, "Okay, what's up?" So we went and met up face to face, and he walked up to me, and I was like, "Hey," I explained to him what happened. So then he called his sergeant, which I love this fucking sergeant.
Yeah, I was a good crew then. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna I'm
yeah.
not gonna
I mean,
lie. I fucking love that crew.
I love this fucking. Let me tell you, like this guy, this particular sergeant is awesome. He's one of those ones. He's a amazing sergeant. He's never wavered. He's never. I trust him with my
Mhm.
life, with my heart, with my kids. That sergeant got brought in, and he's like, "Oh shit, oh shit." He said, "Let's play it out." And so it was weird. So I kind of let Stack run with the investigation, which was weird.
I'm gonna give, our buddy that you're talking about hell too, because he came in, I think it's because he was trying to play it off.
Yeah,
He came in like,
yeah,
Tory, da 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 da. And I think he thought he was playing it off to like make us look left and
yeah,
something's going on right or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Me and the other guys were sitting in there, were like, what the fuck is up with him? He's hiding something. Because it
yeah,
came off so
yeah,
theatrical. He
yeah.
thought he was being so cool with it. It's
Yeah.
like, something's going on with him, but we didn't care. We're like,
Right,
whatever.
right, 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 right. And, it got to the point in the investigation where and you probably done some of the surveillance. I don't know if you did or didn't.
No, I can't remember why I
Okay,
didn't, or maybe
okay,
I did towards the end. I'll
yeah,
be honest, I can't really remember because we were
yeah,
doing a wire at the time
yeah,
too.
that's true,
Things, yeah.
that's true. Yeah, but I was, I even asked him one time. I was so paranoid. I was like, "Can we trust him? Can we trust him?" So I will tell you when all this was going on, and a lady opened her door to like pour a drink out, and
Mhm.
I got out of my car. I drew my gun. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "I'm pouring a drink out." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I holstered my gun back up. I was like, "Yo, this is taking a
Yeah.
toll on me." I don't know. I didn't know who I could trust.
I
Um,
apologize right now because I did not
yeah,
realize the emotional toll that that would have taken on you at that time,
yeah.
especially at that age and that
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, I was young, I unfortunately, it turned into a black-white thing where some black officers approached me and, basically said, "Hey, you're black, he's black, you shoulda gave him an opportunity, to
Yeah.
get out of it," right? And then there was the white officers who were like, basically, "Hey, we're gonna look out for you," whether that
Yeah.
was on purpose or not. I was like, "Listen, I just wanted to do the right thing." So the investigation happened. That particular police officer, we did do a money exchange. At one point in time, I did think I was gonna kill him. We met at a park one time, and he addressed me because, word got out. You know how police departments are.
High school on
It's
steroids.
so word got out that this was happening, and he addressed me, and I used my weapon, and FBI had gotten involved at that point in time, and I basically told him that I'm done. I just almost shot a police officer in uniform,
Yeah.
and so I said, "If you don't have what you have, if you don't have enough to arrest who you need to arrest, I'm sorry."
Well, that's a lot to
Yeah.
ask of you, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
how old were you at the time too?
24, 23,
Jesus.
24, yeah.
Yeah.
23, yeah, yeah, so it was a lot, it was a lot to take in, but I did have a good support system. I have several sergeants, police officers who really, like, I'm telling you, they pulled me off the street. I wasn't allowed to work extra duty jobs, overtime. or anything like that. I had several police officers and former FTOs who literally paid my bills. Yeah, I mean, I had money to pay, but I was having
You didn't have
yeah,
overtime.
I didn't
Yeah.
have overtime, but I mean, I just had kids. I just had daughter.
Yeah.
I literally just had twin daughters.
Yeah.
And so for those guys to step up and say, "Hey, we got you." And I think that's what the thin blue line is all about.
So do you think that that kinda strengthened your 'cause, it's such a weird situation, like, there's such a disbelief of what's going on with, "Hey, I can't believe that this is a dirty cop and this is actually going on," but then such a camaraderie and a coming together with, "Hey,
Yeah.
no, we're gonna get through this and we need to get him the fuck out," kinda thing and
Yeah.
protect you. So, like, where? Because I wonder if people would probably think that either makes you hate cops or love cops or, like, where would you stand on that stuff? Like, what
Yeah, so I think I still on the side of still loving cops because I think that all cops ultimately want to do the right thing. However, I think that some cops succumb to the pressure of society of the bullshit of the folks who want to see them to fail. If I saw a police officer right now, although I'm not law enforcement,
Mhm.
like getting his ass whooped right now, his or her ass, I I gotta help. Like
Yeah.
I just have to. Because that's just a part of who I am, I think. And I think till this day, I would still be a police officer if those things were not a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have stayed a cop had you not had to pull your gun on that other officer? Or do you think it was kinda written in stone after that event occurred?
So that kind of put a black eye on me. Fortunately, I moved to another unit
Yeah.
where um that particular stack unit investigator became my supervisor. So I knew his integrity. And then the police department started a new unit, and then I moved into that unit, and, I feel like that was why I stayed as long as I did,
Mm.
you know? But I just enjoy the running, the gunning, you know? I mean, oh my goodness, I mean, the pursuits, the finding of the child molesters and the
Yeah.
shooting offenders and the robbery offenders. I enjoyed it, and he supported me.
Y
You know, it's you know, I don't know how it is now, because I haven't been a part of the police department in a while, but, you know, to have a supportive supervisor means everything.
Yeah.
You know, if I got in a fight, if I tell you something like,
Mhm.
you know, see it from not necessarily support me, but kinda see it from my angle
Yeah.
or why it should be justified or now I screwed up a bunch, and that particular supervisor has written me up, you know,
There you go.
but, you know
But if you've never been written up or in trouble
yeah,
as a cop,
yeah.
then you've never probably policed, you
And
know?
I respect him for it, like, but the his style was, "Hey, come here. You know what you did, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Alright." So he's like, "Look, I'm gonna shoot for an oral." And I've never gotten more than an oral, you know? As
Oral reprimand for
yeah.
those that
Yeah.
know know.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yes. Oh, yeah, thank you, thank you. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oral oral yes, yes, yes. An oral reprimand. However, you know, he would
Yeah.
say, "Hey, listen, we're gonna try to get this done this way." And I did appreciate that because, you know, I was in shit every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you were one of the few that when you got it right, you made me, like,
Y
fucking nervous because
yes,
you would the
yes.
way that you guys, "Oh god!" Every time I was like I feel bad now, but I remember at the time be like, Tori, would you stop? You're
Yeah.
scaring me to death
I
every
never
time."
forget. I never forget. On the radio one time. I told dispatch, "I'm code one. I got three at gunpoint." And so I'm like, "Hey, listen, I gotta kill this reputation of screaming on the radio." And so the cavalry comes. So guy, I mean, he was reaching under the seat,
Yeah.
and we ended up getting gun, cocaine. He was hiding under the seat, but so that particular sergeant said, "Hey, just so you know, if you got three at gunpoint, you're not code one." Yeah, that's kind of an emergency situation. I was like, "I know, but y'all get on to me all the time about, screaming for help." He's like, "Yeah, but this is a little different." So he talked to me about that. He was like, "Yeah, if you got three at gunpoint, yeah, that's not one of those situations where,
Hey,
yeah, it's okay to,
run
yeah."
code to
Yeah.
the run lights and
I
sirens.
was like, I'm fine, but no, I've had to finish that situation.
Yeah.
I called that sergeant that night and I said, "Hey, this is what happened. I almost shot and killed him. I'm not comfortable anymore." Like, I mean, there was so much to the investigation. Some things that I know, some things that I don't know, because they were keeping me safe. Some things that I didn't know was probably good that I didn't
Yeah.
know because I was kinda weirdly enough, I was the informant. So that officer got arrested, the middleman got arrested, and the dope dealer got arrested. But, I did receive some backlash. Some of the black officers were upset with me that I turned in a black officer, and some of the white officers were happy that I turned in a black o I don't know.
I don't know.
I can only speculate that, but I can only tell you what who came to me and how they came to me.
Yeah. You would just guess if there's an extreme on one side that there's
Yeah.
gotta be
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
other.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
could see
So
that.
yeah, so it makes it nervous, that, I'm in this police department, I've I've caused a shit show.
I never knew anyone to talk ill of you
Mhm.
when it came to that, because there's a couple of us that knew some stuff that was going on
Yeah.
that, like, it got turned down. It was like, "Hey, no." And I'll say all this, I think the statistics are like 0.04% or something like that
I
at, like,
love that.
police.
Yeah.
It's, like, super low for,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
actual bribery or, like, things where
Mhm.
they're found at fault.
Yeah.
And really this would track about that was
Yeah.
considering there's, like, 500 freaking
Yeah.
officers. But yeah, I never heard anybody speak ill of you. The only thing I know that spoke ill of you is me when I was like, "Nice yelling, scaring the shit out of me again."
Hey, help, there was that pursuit one time, and you trespassed me from West Precinct. I was so mad at you. I was so mad. So when that particular sergeant called me and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, she said you can't come to West Precinct." I was like, "I was assisting an officer." And he was like, "But you didn't give out the right look." I was like, "I was trying to figure I don't work that precinct."
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
I vaguely remember this now. I
Yeah.
was so angry,
Yeah.
but,
We ended at the Burger King it was a car pursuit that your officer started on my side of town, and I just so happened to be sitting at a red light and see them chasing them, and I was like, "My dumbass, I'll call it," trying to be the good second officer, and I was like, "We're pulling into fuck, where are we at?" Like, "Where are we at?" Yeah, so, anyway, and then the dispatch
Yeah.
didn't make it any better. She was like, "Advise your 1020." I was like, "Stand by!" Like, pull my ABS. I don't work this side of town.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry. Most of
yeah,
the time when I went off
yeah,
on people, it was
yeah,
because I was scared of safety.
yeah,
It wasn't
yeah, yeah.
like I was, like,
Yeah.
legitimately mad. I was just like, "Ah."
That's all it was. That's all it was. I still love you. I still love you. I
I
promise.
apologize, but, the same time, should've known your fucking location.
Listen, I was in a pursuit. I was young and dumb, and you know the
Yeah,
rest.
I can't even go into my young and dumb, so so what kinda solidified the decision to leave? Like, the whole was it
Yeah.
that last instance with your gun pointed at the other officer, or
Yeah.
was there something else?
So I had a lot of incidents. So, a little bit about me. Maybe I should have provided this in the beginning. Is that I grew up in public housing.
Yeah.
I grew up in public housing and in the area in which I policed, which kind of caused an
Mhm.
issue, right?
Yeah.
And so if someone said Bubba did it,
Mhm.
I knew exactly who Bubba was. If somebody said J Man did it, I knew exactly who J Man was, right? And so not
Yeah,
only
that's
did I
rough.
know who J Man was, I knew his mama, I knew
Mhm.
his grandmama, and so I knew that I could call grandmama or mama and say, "Hey, listen, you probably want to tell him to turn himself in or let me come pick him up,"
Mhm.
right? I knew the dope boys, I knew the
Mhm.
dope dealers, I knew all of those things, and my stats. I mean, you remember being a lieutenant? I don't. My stats alone, I had more stats than the other 2 precincts in my precinct. So, you can imagine the traffic stops, the citations,
Well, I
the
don't have to imagine, I remember.
Yeah, right. I was just a go get I didn't come to work and sit down. We're at an apartment and, off of the parkway. So, it's me, I'm the senior officer there, right? And so we get to this house, this guy allegedly, is threatened suicidal or he has somebody whatever the case may be. Well, anyway, we had a forced entry and this guy has a gun in his right arm. The sergeant, he's like, "Let me help." He's a supervisor, y'all are supposed to,
Mhm.
kinda observe, right? So he came in and we kinda had to force our way. I had my gun pointed to this guy's head, and we're fighting over the gun, and that sergeant is there, and I start screaming, "I'm about to kill him, Sarge. Sarge, I'm about to kill him." And He goes, "Wait, wait, wait. I can make him drop the gun." And I go, "Sarge, I'm about to kill him." Like, him and Sarge are fighting over the gun, and I'm on top. I'm, like, behind the sergeant with
Yeah.
my gun to his head. But my sergeant, this guy's head is, like, right next to each other. So
Yeah.
if I shoot, I shoot my sergeant too.
Yeah. And he's
So
gonna get blood
yeah.
brain matter on him. He's gonna be
Yeah,
very mad
yeah,
at him.
yeah, yeah. He'd probably be upset with me anyway. So he's like, "No, wait, wait, wait." And then I realized that as I'm about to squeeze the trigger, I was like, "Oh shit, I can't shoot him." So
Yeah.
I repositioned my gun to the top of his head, to the top of his forehead, because I
Mhm.
had it to the side. Now I'm repositioned to the side, but then the guy drops the gun as I repositioned it, and he goes, "He dropped it! He dropped it! He dropped it!" Really, that sergeant deserved a life saving medal because I was it's gonna kill him. You got a gun in your hand, and there's a domestic violence victim inside. And let me tell you about the time he yelled at me. I can tell you several times he yelled at me. He yelled at me all the time. Um, I'm on my way to the city shop. It was time
Mhm.
for me to get a new car. I was so excited. I was like, "Yay! I get a new car!" So I pull into the city shop, and I left. Back then we had microphones on our
Yeah,
it's
belts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot my microphone on my home charger. I hear a car pursuit going. I was like, "Huh, I mosey that
Yeah.
way." Guess who ends up being number 1 in the pursuit?
You?
Yeah, that's right. So, the car went off-road. There's, like, a Popeyes, and there's,
Yeah.
like, a Dairy Queen.
Yeah,
Like, the
yeah,
car
yeah.
went off-road. This guy was wanted they confirmed that he was wanted for 2 armed robberies, and so, I'm like, "Okay, I'll just stay on the parkway while he drives this way," and
Yeah.
so, sure enough, he, like, pops out right in front of me, and I never heard this on the radio before. A certain captain, I won't name, says, "Deadly force authorized." I go, "I ain't never heard this before." He knows who he is. I hope he listens to this. Who might have been in the unit you were in at the time. And, so I rammed this car with my car, and I get out, and this guy had been shooting at officers.
Yeah, it's a big
So
fucking
yeah,
deal.
so, I mean, people don't understand, I don't think that, and you can tell me to shut up at any time,
No.
is that, police officers are kinda at war every day. We don't know what we're gonna get in. We fight the everyday issues of everybody. So this guy was shooting at my comrade. In my mind, I thought, I have to kill him. I have to stop this threat. I ran him into the ditch. I get out, and my intentions was to 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 kill him.
Yeah, well, I
Um,
mean, he just shot at some
he
cops
did,
and he's
yeah.
probably still armed.
He shot at several police officers as they were laying out spike strips, and he was still armed. I stretch out,
Mm.
and another officer ran out in front of me. And
Oof.
after he was in custody, I said, "Whoever you fucking pray to, you better thank him, because I was about to fucking kill you." Throughout everything, I've been in some crazy situations where I wish I could talk to the younger officers and say, "Hey, buddy, hey, listen, wait on your assist unit. You're not invincible. Like, you're not."
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in fights where I was like, "Whew, I can't take too many more of these."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, "Oh, if this guy hits me like twice, 2 times more,"
Mhm.
Um,
Stop me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you did a lot of that stuff by yourself. Probably, I mean, I did that shit too, so that's
yeah,
why I can't
yeah,
really talk shit as a rookie. I did that stuff all the time, but
yeah.
you did stuff by yourself because it almost amped up the adrenaline rush of it.
It did, it did.
Mm.
I mean, I was chasing a guy across a university drive, and he did he pulled up his pants and tightened his string, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I knew he was gonna run.
Yeah.
I knew this."
That's a
Y
clue.
Yeah, you probably seen the video. I don't know if you have or not, but
Maybe, I'll be honest, I've
yeah,
seen so many videos
yeah.
of
So I was like, "If you run, I'm gonna get you. If you run, I'm gonna get you." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he did the look left, look right thing. I'm like, "Bro," I said, "Yeah." I said, "Look at me, look at you. I'm gonna catch you." Hindsight's 2020. I should have like detained him,
Yeah.
but at the time I was young,
Mhm.
2, 3 years in.
Yep.
So the guy takes running across eastbound traffic. He runs across, and he runs through the turning lane, and then um, the first eastbound traffic, a Prius, fucking Prius hits him, kills him.
Freaking Prius. I mean, I'm not going out like that, okay, but by a
By a
Prius?
Prius, by a Prius.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you know he was dead? Did he go under or over?
Oh, he went over. When I
Yeah,
looked up, I said, "Oh shit!" Like, it was one of those things, like, I looked up, and then I watched him go down, and I looked at the assist officer, I said, "Are we good?"
I know. That's gonna be my question. I said, were you thinking if you're gonna get in trouble when he was still
That's
midair?
exactly what I was thinking. I was like he said, "Are we good?" He said, "No, are you good?" I was like, "I think so." But, I mean, even my shooting, right? I think that,
Yeah.
a lot of police officers should quarterly or biannually or every 6 months, do some type of so like a mental health check to make sure they're
Yeah.
good. I mean, mental health is a big thing these days, and I got involved in the shooting, and I was dealing with so much at the time. And one of the guys that you interviewed previously, he was on the scene of that. It was a home invasion. So this guy, I walked up to the victim, and he was shot 6 times up his side, and I was like, "Huh, who shot you, dude?"
Mhm.
I've dealt with this 4 other times this week.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Which people don't get. They think, "Oh my god, you should," but it's like, "Listen,
"Yeah,
it's a
this is
Tuesday."
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's really normal. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, like, who shot you, dude?" And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, it's another day in the neighborhood. And he was like, "This person shot me. He shot me at my house around the street." I was like, I'm just okay, let me do my case report.
Mhm.
Let me establish the crime scene. Let me figure out."
You're doing your
Yeah,
checklist.
whatever. I've seen this a million times.
Mm.
And he said, "No, the guy that shot me is in my house right now." I literally said, "Dude, the guy who shot you is in your house right now." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." I said, "So you're telling me the guy that shot you is at your house right now?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." Sure enough, me and a few other officers drive over, and sure enough, this young man is walking down the steps with a gun in his hand. He takes off running. Hindsight's 2020. I shoulda just hit. However, I didn't do that. I was thinking about cover at the time. I positioned my car where I could cover behind the engine block, and but my car ended up not being covered. But anyway, I shot that guy. He ended up dying, and, what bothered me most about that 2 things bothered me most about that is after the fact, although he pointed a gun at me, other officers came up to me and was like, "Hey, good job, you did good, you did good." And
Yeah.
at that particular moment, I did not feel like I did a good job. I was
Yeah.
like, I just killed somebody. I was a part of killing somebody, like, so, although it was the right thing to do, I didn't feel like it was a good job. I mean, they were just happy I was safe. The other thing that bothered me was the Black Lives Matter movement. Uh,
Was it at the same time
yeah, I
or
mean, it
yeah.
was, a black guy was shot, I was black,
Yeah, yeah.
and so, I didn't understand why I was black, he was black. Why didn't my and he pointed a gun at me, I didn't start this. Why didn't my life matter just as much as his life mattered?
Yeah.
It really bothered me to the point to where I called the chief, deputy chiefs, and I said, "Release the video." I said, "Why won't y'all release the video?" Because they were marching. This is really bothering me.
I think this is just my
Yeah,
opinion, but
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's because you weren't black or white, you're blue,
Mhm,
and it just is
mhm.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
police are an easy enemy to have and an easy target because they're out there all the time. Um, doing this stuff and they write the tickets and they arrest the bad guys, all this other good stuff. But they're also the ones that respond when people call. No matter
Yeah.
what happens, they're still going to
No
be showing
matter.
up.
No
So
matter.
the speech that I used to give is that what police sell isn't like the whole good and evil thing, whatever, but it's the privilege for the public to be naive to
Yeah.
what goes on. So if you do your job well, the public might not know the crap that goes on at
Yeah.
night or the crap that goes on.
Yeah.
But the other side of that same coin is that if they don't know what goes on and they're oblivious to that fact, then they're not going to think that what you do is justified on a
Right.
day to day
Right.
basis. So
Right.
I think policing has been so good over the last few decades. And yes, there's bad apples,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
bad,
yeah,
horrible
yeah.
people.
There's bad doctors, there's
Yes.
bad paramedics, there's bad everything. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
but because they've done so well at stopping a lot of that violence, people are naive to the fact that there is so much violence and so
Yeah,
much bad stuff that the
there's
cops
so
stop.
much.
And if cops do well, then people get to be oblivious to the fact of the violence in the world. And if they do their job badly, then they're
But
still bad.
I wanna encourage those police officers to continue to have the, like, warrior mentality because that's what my training academy man, I think he's a captain now, but he's by far one of the best supervisors I ever had. He I mean, this guy I was a police officer. the old North Precinct, or
Mhm.
old precinct, and I got into 2 pursuits in one night. One was a stolen car, and one was just some bullshit. They didn't stop. But one, I just happened to find a stolen, but, I want him to hear this if he's ever listening. He was off that day, but the sergeant that, I mean, he got in my ass. You're in 2 pursuits a night. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You gotta be careful." And I was just like, "I'm sorry, I was just working." But my sergeant came back to work the next day, and in front of that sergeant, his squad, and my squad, my particular sergeant cussed that sergeant out, and he said, "Let me tell you something," in both roll calls. And after roll call, he pulled him aside with me. He said, "I wish I had 10 of Tory Greens. If I had 10 Tory Greens, this city would be clean. For you to get on to him about getting into 2 pursuits, so what?" And he looked at the squad, "Y'all need to get your stats together," and I'm in that position like, "God damn, like, you were good until that point." The squad always supported me. They knew that if I came screaming, it was pretty deep. So, for the most part, I do miss policing. I don't miss the politics. I don't miss the dumb stuff behind it.
Yeah.
I feel like you would still be a police officer.
But yeah, hands down, I would be. I loved it. I was gonna retire from it. Well, properly retire from it. But yeah, but it was the statement. I'm sure I'll go into this at some point. But it's when the chief told me, "Did you think you were gonna stay there until it was inconvenient for you?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
And I've been through a lot of stuff in the department off and
Yeah.
on, but
Yeah.
that one got me because all the major events I'd been at for the most part are managed, and I thought that they could maybe show me some kind of grace to like, hey, listen, I've worked 17 years to get to this position
Yeah.
and have actually good off days for my kid, and now
No.
I couldn't choose between my kid and the job.
Yeah.
That wasn't even a choice.
Yeah.
So
I will say this, to the current chief, deputy chiefs, captains, I hope they don't lose focus on the drive and the mission. But I do understand that once they move up in rank, it's happened every time. There is a certain deputy chief that I think I like. No, not I think I like that I think who has continued to
mhm,
be positive, but they have to remember you are the police, and I understand you have to answer to people in the community who believe different things, and you have to, worry about certain things, but you need to let your guys work. And that's what I appreciate the stack team and the anti-crime team
mhm.
and the task force officers do a great job at keeping our city safe. They do a great job, and I have to
And
give it to them. I appreciate them.
yeah, I think Academy, all of them. Like
Yeah,
I
the
don't have a
academy. Yeah, yeah,
bad word to say about them. I think, yeah, it's lost in the politics up in the upper echelon, where some ground is lost. As far as police departments go, because I was asked, "Hey, you gonna go somewhere else? You gonna go try to get hired here? Do this?" I was like, "I don't think I want to be a member of another." Like
yeah,
this is that was the one and only for me, one and only
yeah,
police department.
yeah. I
And
think
maybe
so.
you can speak different
No,
because you have some experience with the police departments
yeah.
now. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I've done third party reviews for police departments.
uh-huh.
We've done some several police departments all over the country, and I love the police department in which I work for. I think that they have a very, very, very good not only foundation, but I think that they do well,
Mhm.
especially training. I have to hands down to the training. Some of the captains I love dearly. They were my supervisors at one point in time. I can't sit here and say that the police department I work for is horrible or terrible. I have to say that because I've seen so many and I've had to get so many in line, like, but there's improvement that can be
Oh yeah.
implemented everywhere. That's all. Yeah.
I think it's when we stop being open to the improvement is when we start to think that okay, the only voices that I listen to are these guys and the rest of them don't matter. The ones that are afraid to be challenged,
Yep.
challenge me in a room and give me some different opinions. I'll say that much working at the academy with that blip that I did. Granted, I knew most of them because we're in the same academy set, but those guys aren't afraid to just be like, no, I think this is dumb because
Yeah.
of this. And that's also why that staff was so freaking good because they challenge each other
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah. 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 For
So
sure. For sure. Yeah. I forgot what we were talking
I
about.
did too. I want to ask when you left out, how did that feel? Like, how did you adjust?
Yeah. So when I left the police department, I thought that I was so much of a significant impact that they would miss me. However, I felt like I lost a sense of not necessarily pride, but I just lost that particular police department can suck you in,
Mhm.
for lack of better words. And so I got sucked in and I drank the Kool-Aid for a long time. And then I left. I lost friends. You had those friends who thought you were supposed to stay there forever. You
Yeah.
had those friends that you just didn't because you didn't see them and talk to them. But I still do have a bunch of some of my best friends are from the police department. Love them today. So to say what I lost is I think I lost just being in the know, being a part of that crowd. But I think the dog looks like he's getting busy.
Is my dog licking his dick?
I'm sorry, look at the
It does
dog.
look very
Look at
suspicious.
yeah, look at the dog. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but look where the dog was.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, that was
Any
suspicious.
okay, but anyway,
Oh,
that
shit.
is yeah.
How did you leave out? Did you leave, like, last day and then just go?
So, I put my 2 weeks notice in. Um, I actually got a chief interview. I heard you didn't.
Yeah, I did. There he refused.
I heard through the grapevine. Yeah, I heard all about that. And so, no, I put in my 2 weeks notice. When I moved on, I got to read my file on who
Mhm.
said what about me, and that's I woo, I don't know if I wanna put that out there yet, but yeah, so I know things that people said that they don't know I said, but I still love them, from a distance. But no, the chief, and that was the problem, right? So when I got into that whole thing with the bribery and things, I was promised that I wouldn't have to go back to the street or whatever. So I was told that hey,
Mhm.
you can go like to investigations, you can go to IA, you can go to stack, you can go to and then when that happened, when it was over with, it was like, oh, go back to patrol.
Mhm.
And I was like, "No, that's not what you said." And he was like, "Oh, no, that was another chief that told you
Mhm.
that." And so
Yeah, that was messed up. I remember that, and I remember that pissing a lot of us off that knew that
yeah,
that shouldn't have
yeah.
happened.
I mean, even paying me the overtime that I put in for because I didn't have to document the overtime.
Mm.
And so I had to go back and document all the overtime. A particular chief said, "No, we're not gonna pay you overtime."
What?
Oh,
I
no.
did not know that
Oh, yeah,
part.
yeah, yeah. No, we're not gonna pay you overtime anymore. We're gonna, give you comp time. And I said, "Comp time?"
What?
Yeah, 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 we're gonna pay you comp time." I was like, "No, but no, I was told that if I went through with this, document my overtime, and you
Yeah.
all would pay me the overtime for it." No, we're not doing that. We're gonna max out your comp time, then we'll pay you overtime. I was like,
Wow.
"What
I
can you
mean,
say?" And the sergeant who was over the stack unit at that particular time, he got pissed.
yeah, rightfully
Yeah,
so. He should get
yeah,
pissed.
he called the chief and he said, "Tell him I will pay him out of the stack funds. I will pay you out of the stack funds." He said, No, no, I'll call him. I'm gonna tell him I will pay you out of the stack funds." He said, "No, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
That's messed. I'm gonna call him right now." And then that chief denied me. I just got a lot of time off and didn't get to benefit. Yeah,
That's the politics that
yeah,
we're talking about.
yeah,
It seems simple to me, right and wrong, but I guess I don't it gets lost in the wash. I don't know, or people
yeah,
stop communicating. I don't know what goes on
yeah,
because everybody likes to think that they never change as they go up the rank. I'd like
yeah,
to think I didn't change as I go
yeah.
up the rank, but I
No, I'm
was
just kidding. I will say
get
this.
out of West Side.
I will say this about you. Yeah, I will say
Yeah,
this about
please
you.
don't.
No, no, no. I will say this about you. I was a police officer. You was a sergeant and a lieutenant.
Mhm.
Obviously, we have our differences.
Oh, yeah.
You're a supervisor, and I'm a police officer, right? But I will say that at least you looked out for your officers. Like if a pursuit or stolen car, robbery, or something like that, you were good. As a police officer, I like to chase people for dumb shit. And so,
Yeah.
you're like, hey, listen, chasing somebody for a seatbelt isn't good. I think you should be proud of the supervisor you were. Although I was like, oh, but now I'm good.
I was like angry mom at you. I was like, "Ty, stop it. You're scaring the shit out of me." But,
Yeah.
yeah, I got
No,
over that. I
no.
did wanna ask you one more question
Yeah.
about what month did you get out?
I got out in like August and he died in December.
Yeah, I'll be honest, getting out, that is the thing that makes me fucking nervous,
Yeah.
is how I imagine that shook you pretty bad, not only because of who he was and what happened, but because you weren't there.
I can't tell you when the last time I cried, even since then. Billy, that really messed me up. I was in Secret Service school. I became a Secret Service agent. I was in Secret Service school, and I got that call that Billy had been shot. I was like, "Keep me posted." And I get another call, Billy, like everybody's calling me. Billy,
Mhm.
like sometimes I read text messages from him, and I think about him all the time. And so they was like, "No, Billy's been shot. Billy's been shot." I was like, "Okay, like, keep me posted. Keep me
Mhm.
posted." A particular sergeant called me and said, "Hey, Billy's dead." No, someone just told me that they're, like, connecting shit with the heart and connecting an artery. So I got the news Billy died, and I didn't believe it. And, Billy and I were on the street crimes team together. And we rode in the same car together, set people up. He was the brains, I was like the action guy. He would say every day he would come in and he'd go, "Hey, what you got for us, high speed? What you got for us, high speed?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been setting this up. I've been setting, because I would
Yeah.
work all morning setting stuff up for Billy. It was important for me to impress Billy. But when Billy died, that tore me up. It tore me up. Part of me was, what if I was part of that unit, which I wasn't a part of his unit at that
Yeah, the
time.
narcotics guys,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Part of me was, what if I was the support for that unit, and then I wanted to go and kill that guy.
They
Yeah,
didn't know, or that guy
yeah,
probably would be dead,
for
honestly.
sure, for sure. It broke me. I hadn't cried that much. In fact, I went to a bar that night and poured a drink for Billy, pulled the chair up, leaned it to the bar, and me and Billy had a drink that night. I miss Billy. He was a cop's cop. I would tell you, like, sometimes he would be in bed and I was out,
Mhm.
either helping patrol because, patrol was short, so they would ask people to stay over. And, so I would, like, stay over for a and I would get in a pursuit or fight or something, and he would show up, literally show up. Jeans, a police polo, his vest. "You good? I heard
Mhm.
you on the radio." Like, that dude was a cop's cop.
They cared.
Yeah, he cared. And, I knew he cared about me. I miss that guy. I love him. You're gonna make me cry sitting here talking about him.
I'm sorry.
Now, yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it would've been easier for you to grieve if you were still a cop at the time? Or do you think it was hard because you're kinda I don't wanna say you're outside, because obviously, you came over here and we had that group.
Oh, I think, honestly, I think that, I would've dealt with it better than me being in another city and state.
Mhm. Sorry. I know that that had to been rough with being outside of HPD, I imagine. Even, like, a buddy from mine from the academy,
Mm,
I saw him at the hospital and stuff, and I didn't really talk to people at the hospital because I was handling the scene and some stuff going on. I always worry about the people that have left out, or at the time I did, that left out of HPD too, because I feel
yeah.
like there wasn't as much support all the time
It
with,
wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was just me. I was by
Yeah.
myself at an academy. I'm just like, I just lost my friend. Like, I
Yeah.
need a second. Like, fuck this shit. Like, no disrespect. I love the Secret Service and all
Mhm.
that, but I need a second. Let me process this because this is my guy. Like,
Yeah.
this is like one of my really good friends
Mhm.
who I talk to on a daily. Like, even after I left, he would text me, "Hey, you need to come back." I still have those messages where he would tell me, "Come back
Yeah.
and hang out with me." And I just wish I would have took a weekend to just come and hang out and just have a beer and just
Yeah.
chill with him. And I don't get to do that anymore.
Has it changed to you since? Do you take more moments to have those weekends?
I do. I 100% do. Especially, I hear of my friends, if I know them or any police officer, they get in a shooting or some kind of crazy
Mhm.
situation. I try to reach out to them. And I say, "Hey, listen, if they know me, cool. If they don't know me, hey, I know you don't know me, but let's go
Yeah.
have dinner. Let's go have a drink. I've been in this situation before on both
Mm.
sides. Can we have a conversation? I just want to check on your mental health." EAP is good, but it ain't,
Eh,
but it ain't,
yeah.
but it ain't good.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no,
not
no.
good.
But
Yeah.
it ain't good.
Yeah.
Let me. Can I tell you how my EAP went?
Yeah, go for it.
I walked in. They go, "Are you good?" I go, "Yeah, I'm good." "Okay, cool. I'm clearing you."
What?
Wait,
Well, I'll tell you how, when I had a severe incident, a
yeah.
person ended up dying,
Yeah.
over a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
Is that
so
the Arsenal thing?
the what?
Is that the Arsenal thing?
No, not that one.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
Different one.
There's been so
So
many,
there's
Tess.
but we didn't even get days off, me and the guy. It was just like, "Hey, we stayed at work."
Yeah.
Person died. It was just no EAP, no
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Just continued on. Went
Yeah.
back to work the next day, washed the blood off, and that was it. So they got a little bit better than they did then, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
And I understand there's politics is crap about, but yeah, that
Yeah.
it's just never. It's not where it needs to be. That's fucked up. I
Yeah.
never.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So anyway, but that's why I reach out even now
Yeah.
on my free time just to talk to these officers. If I know them or feel like I can reach out to them, I say, "Hey, let's talk about it." So,
Yeah. Let me switch this out then. Somebody that's looking to get out of policing, how would you suggest that them prepare themselves mentally for that?
yeah, I would say a couple things. A little therapy. There's life after policing. You need to have a plan in place and lean on the appropriate resources like you and I that can maybe hook them up with a job. I was the first police officer to tase someone. I don't know if
Oh,
you
I
know
did
this.
not know
Do you
that.
know this? So I
Mm-mm.
was in the whole city. I was the first police officer. So I'll tell you the story. So we're fighting this guy in one of the housing projects,
Uh-huh.
and there was a bet like, who's gonna be the first person to taste it? It was me and this other officer. So me and he's an investigator now.
Okay.
We're fighting this guy in the projects. And so he's like, "Tase him." I was like, "No, I can't be the first one. I'm gonna lose $40." He was like, "All right, all right, all right." So we're fighting him for like another 20 seconds. And he looked at me, he goes, "Fucking tase him, bro." Yeah, he's like, "Fucking tase him, bro." I'm like, "No, I can't lose the bet," because there was a bet going around, like departmental wide, who's gonna be the first to tase somebody. So I said, "It's two of us, it's one of him." And we're calm, like talking to each other,
Mhm.
you know. So he's like, "Fucking tase him, bro." I was like, "No." And so we're still wrestling around with him. He's in a car, bag of weed, warrants. He's like, Tory, look at me." So I got the guy, I got one of his arms, and he got one. He's like, "Tase him." And I look at him, I go, "Fuck it. I'll lose the bet." And I pull out my taser and I tase the guy and I lost the bet.
Wait, so you only had to pay out
Yeah,
40 bucks?
right. But I was like, damn, I wanted to be the one to say I wasn't the first one. I guess he was getting tired. I don't know.
Or
Yeah.
he wanted you to lose
Right,
bet.
right. Or he had money in the game. I wonder, you know what? I'm gonna call him after this and talk to him about this.
I
So,
would bet, knowing him.
so anyway,
Well,
I lost that bet.
thanks for coming on and freaking. I am very happy for the route that you've taken and what you've done. So
Same, same.
you haven't let, a little bit of adversity stop you at all. You
No.
fucking took it and run with it.
I
So
appreciate it. No, I look forward to being on the show again. So yeah, keep me posted. Let me know.
yeah, hell yeah.
Roll Tide. That's
Oh,
what.
dude, what was that?
Yeah, I said that.